Hi everybody, I'm Michael Essany and you're watching Around the Region.
We're watching Around the Region.
I'm Evelyn Price from Around the Region.
I'm Vicki Breen from Around the Region.
Welcome back to Around the Region, and we're here with Michael Essany, local celebrity to now international celebrity. And Michael, the first question I got to ask you is, how does it feel to go from local to international?
It feels great, but right now I'm a little nervous. Nick, I'm here on the campus of Valparaiso University. This is a classroom where I've had a number of difficult classes. Haven't been in here since my final exam, so the nerves are still with me. You know what I'm saying?
You're
not going to ask me any questions in multiple choice form, nothing. No. I can go back to that question about how it feels. It's wonderful. Okay. I've been doing this local show for 5 years, and then when it got picked up by E! Last year, it took off, and then they sold the international rights to Great Britain and Spain and Australia, and it's making its way around the globe. And I'm told that the show has actually done much better in England than it has done here in the States.
That's interesting. Well, I remember you tried to, I think you were on Leno, and you'd mentioned that you try to produce and have a format of a show that doesn't compromise on principles. Do you think that might be part of the case why England and the British people might have accepted your show maybe greater than the United States?
Certainly so. I think that's a part of it. I also detect a pretty dramatic difference in the tone of emails that I receive from England and those from the States. And the primary difference is people in England typically refer to their favorite aspect of the show being how I balance work with school. In the States, the emails primarily emphasize the material, or the guests, the fun stuff. But the English folks want to know how I go to college, or university, as they say, and do a national television show. So I think they're very much interested in my lifestyle and how I get all this stuff done, whereas American folks like the entertainment value. So either way, you can't go wrong.
Now, Michael, now that you've grown a little bit, you're on the E! show. Tell us a little bit about the first series of shows that you had on the E! And what kind of experiences and lessons have you learned from them?
Well, the first 6 shows were okay. I thought they could have been better. I thought a lot of the fun stuff, the best stuff we did, was left on the editing room floor, primarily because E! at first was interested in doing a reality series, more about the making of my show than the show itself. But the feedback after those first 6 shows aired basically told E! that they need to put more of the talk show on there, because we figured out that Michael books guests and he makes phone calls and his dad goes to get groceries for guests, stuff like that. So these 7 episodes coming up emphasize the talk show more than anything else. Jamie Lynn Sigler is from The Sopranos is coming up on the show, and she, our episode has more of the talk show than I think any other episode we've done so far of the 13. And TV Guide just listed it as a hit in their hits and misses category. So it's my first time in hits and misses in TV Guide. So very proud of that.
And who was your biggest surprise, I guess, in terms of what to expect once you had them at your house or here at the campus, and how the interview went? I mean, who was the one that stood out the most?
Probably Jerry O'Connell.
Okay.
You know, you see these guys in movies and you don't know what they're going to be like in real life. Jerry came in and was this ball of energy. He reminded me of my big brother, actually, my oldest brother. He came in, and I tried to do something fun with all my guests, and I proposed karaoke singing. I proposed a number of things with Jerry, and Jerry goes, "No, I have an idea." He goes, "I want to take you to the mall, Mike, and I want to go cruising for chicks. I want to test out your popularity here in Valpo." So that's what we did, and I tell you, I had so much fun with Jerry, and we just hit it off. We're good pals.
Now, I caught that episode, and I saw a lot of phone numbers being exchanged there. Did any of those phone numbers get followed through with or anything? Any calls?
Okay. Yes, maybe.
So that's...
I'll leave it at that.
Now, when you're doing your monologue, lately, now that you have a bigger audience, are you putting a little bit more emphasis on it? Is there a different approach, a different strategy now that you know that you have a national audience as opposed to a local audience?
There is a different strategy, but it's not so much in terms of knowing I'm reaching a larger audience. I've always tried to play it to the national crowd, even on a local show, because my goal was to try and compete with the big guys. But it's changed primarily in that I am at a disadvantage. Jay and Dave and Conan and all the guys can tape their stuff the night it airs. I'm shooting monologues 3, 4, 5 months before they're going to air on E. So I am vastly limited and restricted in terms of the topics I can discuss. I mean, I've heard from a lot of people saying, Michael, you haven't taken one shot at Arnold Schwarzenegger yet. You haven't talked about this or whatever's going on in the news. And I tell them, you know, my stuff has to be general now because, you know, I can't see the future. I don't know what's going to happen. So I really dislike that.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to air in a couple days here locally. Do you have anything on Arnold or anything that's current that you could throw out there?
Well, people want to know if I support Arnold or what I think should happen in California. And I've actually been urging my old friend Carrot Top to run for governor of California. I think he could save the state fortune just on collect calls alone. I think that would be, yeah.
Wonderful.
I don't watch.
That's good stuff. Now, my next question is, how was it to have to follow the Ann and Nicole show on Sunday nights?
I didn't enjoy that too much, primarily because, and I've never tried to say anything disparaging necessarily about Anna. That's not my way. But my show is so different from hers, primarily on account of the fact that families can watch my show, and I really don't think the pairing of Anna and me made any sense whatsoever. I understand E's reasoning behind it. Anna's show was their most popular show. Now it's probably going to be canceled because it's lost viewership. But to give me a powerful lead-in was something that they felt was important. But I think sometimes you got to base those programming decisions on more than just numbers. And I shouldn't have been on that late. I still shouldn't be on as late as I am because I've got 8-year-olds who love the show. But I understand where they're coming from. I just wasn't happy to follow her, and I'm glad that I'm not any longer.
Now, you know, talking a little bit about the behind the scenes, tell us a little bit about the dynamics that are involved in how much are you involved and how much are you not involved in the show anymore?
I'm completely involved in the production of the talk show. Okay. So the material I write and the interview questions I ask and what I do in terms of sketches and stuff.
And we're talking about the Michael Essany
show. The talk show, the local show that E is covering. That is all within my realm of control. Okay. In terms of the reality portions of the show, E determines all of that. And when they take all the footage of my talk show and all that they shoot of my family, myself and friends as we put the show together, that is all put together by E's producers in Los Angeles with little consultation from me. Sometimes I don't even see the final version before the show airs, so I'm learning for the first time along with you what the show's going to look like. That's nerve-wracking because I'm not a control freak, but I like to give something a thorough analysis and be able to present my case, and I don't always get a chance to have a real impact.
Have you learned a little bit about the business from that perspective now?
I've learned a lot about the business. You know, I understand why they call it show business. I don't like the business. I like the show.
I hear you.
And unfortunately, you have to deal with the business. But it's something that really has to be endured. You can't, I don't really think it's possible to enjoy the business. If you do enjoy the business, please get help immediately. But for me, it's just that I'm a Midwestern guy. I don't relate well with some of the antics and tactics employed by those in positions of power out in Los Angeles. So, so I've learned a lot of knowing a lot of what should be done, a lot of what shouldn't be done, and more or less a certain savvy has befallen my parents and I.
You know, for those that are out there might have caught Michael's local show, or may have caught him out there, like at the mall, or at the bowling alley, or at the grocery store. It's got to be a different scenario for somebody out there locally. All of a sudden there's cameras there, and you know, it's not something the region is used to having. So from your perspective, how much more can people expect in the next series of shows? What kind of local areas are you hitting?
Well, we went to Chuck E. Cheese in Maryville. We went to Wiseway here in Valparaiso. We took Weird Al Yankovic to Front Porch Music in Valparaiso to have Al play the accordion for us. So we tried to hit. We went to Star Plaza Theater in Maryville. I mean, there really is some local fixture highlighted on most episodes. I wish there could have been more, but you know that doesn't always happen. We had a great comedian named Don Tersini come out to do the show. His appearance did not make it in the final cut of the E series. Regret that significantly because Don is a great guy, a great comedian, and he's been on the show in the past many times. So I wish more local people could be on. I wish more local fixtures could be on, but I'm doing my best. We just had Stormy Weather, a great regional group, a cappella group. They performed an original song for my show, and they were just absolutely sensational. So I hope they will have a chance to make another appearance one day on my show.
You know, before we go, can you just give us a lineup again one more time of the next series of shows here? Who's coming up next week and the following week and so forth?
We got Freddie Rodriguez from 6 Feet Under, the Emmy-nominated series. He's coming on with Sean Ashmore from the new X-Men sequel. And then the following Friday at 9:30, We've got Weird Al Yankovic and Nikki Ziering. We've got Jewel and Jamie Lynn Sigler and Nigella Lawson. So that's a good lineup. And on the Nigella episode, speaking of local things, Mayor David Butterfield of Valparaiso and I switched roles for a day. I became mayor of the city. He hosted my talk show.
Cool.
So it's going to be a great Hollywood local role reversal on that episode, and we're excited about it.
Because that's usually one of the number one questions I get asked is, how you have to ask Michael, how come he doesn't have a driver's license?
Yeah. I remember a couple months ago I went just to get the permit, not the license, and I went in there, and all these people were. This was late at the DMV, and you know, people in Valparaiso know who I am. Right. I go in there, and people were shocked. At first, I think they thought there was going to be a camera behind me. It was a sketch of some sort. I walked in and I said, "Hi, I'm here to take the test for my driver's permit." And everybody's looking at me. You know, they put you at one of those little desks, you know, and you got to, like you're in the 4th grade again. And I'm answering the questions, and I look up. And there's 30 people looking at me. And I felt so much pressure, honestly. Yeah. I felt more pressure at that instant than I probably did on either appearance on The Tonight Show. Yeah. But I passed, I got the permit, I'm out taking mailboxes down all throughout Valparaiso right now. Having a great time.
So if your mailbox is knocked down, good chances, you know, Mike.
Give me a call.
There. And is there any other scoops that you may want to let us know a little bit about what's going on with Michael here in the near future, in your life, anything?
Well, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff locally in the next several months. I love this area, and I've grown to love the community so much that I'm just trying to accept a lot of the different invitations, speaking invitations and otherwise. I'm trying to see the E people have put national press above local press, and I want to compensate for that a little bit now, now that all the national shows have been shot, and I'm going to be speaking, you know, on behalf of different organizations, charitable causes, and otherwise. I'll be doing that. I've got a book in the works for Random House that I'm very excited about.
Can you reflect on us what the details of that a little bit?
Yes, it's an unauthorized biography of Nick Mantis, and it's
that's
no. It's really more or less my life story intended to inspire young people to pursue their dreams. Okay. So that's the book project.
Awesome.
I've got that, and I'm full time here at this campus. Yeah. I'm waiting for a test at this moment. It's just kind of nerve-wracking.
Now, Michael, you've been on the national level, international level as well, with the E! Show. And tell us, have you got any response from anybody, you know, notoriety of big names of celebrities or anything like that?
Oh, sure. The president and his cabinet call me often. It's wonderful. No. I get a lot of interesting phone calls, a lot of offers, a lot of opportunities, people inquiring about my show. In terms of, like, big stars calling me, like Drew Barrymore, to say, Michael, I love your show, that hasn't happened yet. Okay. A lot of stars aren't necessarily fond of the E! Network for a number of reasons. So I try to be the safe venue for stars. So hopefully that'll catch on over time and more people will tune in and check me out.
And what can we expect from Michael and E! or Michael, just Michael, here in the very near future?
Well, right after this, I'm going to my next class. That's the first thing coming up. Then, beyond that, I'll just be very busy doing stuff in the area, like I indicated, speeches and the book, and going to VU and taking out mailboxes. So, with all that stuff, there really won't be time for much more. But I'm just having a great time right now. I'm enjoying this success, and of everything, I would say I'm most proud of representing this city that I've grown to love so much. So Northwest Indiana is a wonderful place. Wonderful place to grow up, and I'm proud of my hometown, and I want to be a great representative to the world for it.
Wonderfully put, and like we said, we're grateful here to have you on Around the Region. We try to promote the ongoings in Northwest Indiana, and you know, you can catch Michael's show on the E! channel. It's on Friday nights, 8:30? 9:30. 9:30, and that's Central Time?
That is Central Time.
The Central Time, so we got a great show there, local product, Michael Essany, Valparaiso, and you know, Michael, thanks for being on the show once again.
Nick.
We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
And for Around the Region, I'm Nick Mantis.